Oh, here I am with my new best friend. He knows everything about me. He's just very perceptive.
Oh, God! Oh, no! Oh, Deborah Harry, Monday night, 9:30, enough rope.
Monday, Andrew talks live with cricketing great Adam Gilchrist and meets punk goddess Blondie. Discover a down-to-earth Deborah Harry.
I don't think I would have gotten anywhere without looks.
And hear her close encounter.
There were no door handles and no cranks. The hair on the back of my neck just stood up.
And do you think it was Ted Bundy?
I do. Yes, I do.
Interviews with a twist. Enough Rope, 9:30 Monday.
My next guest was Madonna before Madonna even thought of it. 1 million adolescent men took her to bed, but no one, it seemed, could touch her. Always in fashion, even if fashion didn't always know it. She was Blondie, seller of 50 gazillion albums. She was punk. She was essentially New York and still is. Ladies and gentlemen, Deborah Harry. Welcome to Enough Rope.
Thank you.
Lovely to have you here.
So nice to be here.
Well, I'm about to play something you've probably never seen played before on television in an interview you've done, which is a clip of Blondie at their height and this rare song called Heart of Glass.
Oh, okay.
Can I just say on behalf of 1 million adolescent men, Arr!
Yes.
And believe you me, it comes from the heart and other places as well.
That makes me happy.
It's true. It must have been, Blondie at its peak, so much fun.
Yeah, well, it was pretty wild experience. I mean, we really sort of had a lot happen in a short period of time. Yeah, it was pretty good.
Give me an idea of how much fun it can be. What was the peak of fun, Blondie style?
The idea of, having to, have bodyguards and, sort of running through the streets and trying to, do things. And I don't know, it's just sort of this madness, where people are always sort of chasing you and stuff like that. I mean, it's pretty insane. It gets pretty insane.
You had bodyguards how often? Was this permanent?
Then? Yeah, I just had one, one or two.
Really?
Yeah.
And did they have a lot of work to do?
They earn their pay, yes.
Yeah. Now, is that an awkward thing, having a bodyguard? Because somebody's going, Deborah, Deborah, and it's like, boom.
Well, I had this guy, John, who was a paratrooper, and he was just great. He was very smooth, and he wasn't trying to prove anything. He was just he was a dad, and he just was a very powerful person. And just tried to, if anybody was sort of disrespectful, he tried to teach them respect.
What, as a dad, he'd say, go to your room.
Yeah, sort of like that.
It must be the greatest charge in the world to have worldwide hits, of which you have many, to go out in front of an audience and belt it out.
Yeah. It's very, I guess they say cathartic, I suppose. It is that. I mean, it's a wonderful, I don't know, it's a wonderful energy. I guess I'm so used to it, and I don't know anything else. And I guess a lot of people think there is something more to it than quite possibly there is. But it is very individual. It's like any other experience that's satisfying and exciting. I'm spoiled, I know.
Is it like a drug?
I think it is, physically, yeah.
You said you understand or understood the tragedy of Kurt Cobain, the lead singer of Nirvana, who killed himself.
Yeah.
How hard is it to deal with big success?
Well, I think if you don't have the right support system around you, it can be very unnerving. It's almost like being exposed, really fast, just sort of ripped open or something like that. And if you don't have that kind of nature, and obviously he had a sort of a quiet side to him, that sensitive, quiet side, and he probably felt sort of overexposed.
It's ironic, being part of punk, that you've sort of come back as Blondie, because punk was about sweeping away the old music. Mm-hmm. You must have thought long and hard, because there's the great risk coming back as a band of being dismissed as has-beens cashing in on faded glories.
Uh-huh. Yeah, well, I don't think that we really ever thought of it like that. We've always been, I guess, very active as writers, and you know, the balance of the band, the majority of the people in the band are contributors to the writing, and so it is sort of a real ensemble piece.
I'm fascinated, the first time, not on stage, in rehearsal,
yeah,
that you got back together to get ready. What was that first time like? As you got the instruments, you're looking at each other. Mm-hmm. What was it like?
It was kind of perfect, actually.
Yeah?
I was sort of really moved by the fact that, oh, wow, we really are a band. There's nothing that's changed. We sound the same. We're really the same people. And that's really all that I ever really wanted, was to have a band that, you know, sounded like itself and like nobody else, and we did it.
So you can still cut it?
Yeah.
We actually have a clip here. This is from Blondie's new album, The Curse of Blondie. This is the single Good Boys. I know you don't have a lot of time for the sort of prefabricated pop acts of today. Has being back on the circuit given you a new respect for, say, the likes of Britney Spears?
In an odd way, I suppose, yes, because I think that she trained to be a star. She worked as a little girl. I mean, anyone who sort of grows up in the business like that and is consistent and works really hard as a child, I think they really deserve to have some success and some response, and, you know, to get what they want. It's a terrifically dedicated thing.
Annie Lennox said on the show recently, she said there are two groups of people in music these days, those who endorse Pepsi and those who don't.
Oh, Annie.
You briefly worked for Hugh Hefner as a Playboy bunny. Now, is it true that the wives of patrons would stub cigarettes out on your leg?
I don't know necessarily if wives were the ones that were doing
Right.
it, but sometimes girlfriends.
Really?
That was one of the things that I was really surprised about that. But then after it happened, you know, and I complained about it, they said, "Yep, watch out."
So you'd be there dispensing hospitality?
Yeah.
Yeah?
Yeah.
And they're just...
Yeah.
Did you cop any other stuff from them?
Did I what?
Sorry, that's Australian. Did... Cop any other stuff? Did you receive any other treatment from them?
No. No, that was the only bad thing.
Can we clear up... I don't know if this is an urban myth or not, but I've heard this now from several sources, and I've never heard you asked about it. Is it true that you had a narrow escape from the serial killer, Ted Bundy?
Well, I was being, you know, a bad girl, I suppose. I was up late, and I was, you know, trying to get across town to a party, and it was 2 or 3 o'clock in the morning, and, you know, I was sort of staggering around on, you know, huge platforms. It was the early 70s, and I was, you know, trying to get to the party and staggering down the street, and this little car kept coming around and offering me a ride, and I kept saying, no, 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 and finally I took the ride because I couldn't get a cab. Mm. And I got in the car, and the windows were all rolled up, and it was summertime, and it was really hot. and this guy had an incredibly bad, you know, smell to him. He smelled really awful. And I looked over at the window, just, you know, sort of with my eyes. I didn't really... And the window was open about this much at the top, and it was a little car, a little, like, white car. And then I looked down at the door because I was going to crank open the window, and there were no door handles and no cranks. And then I started scanning the inside of the car, and there was absolutely nothing. The inside of the car was completely stripped, and the hair on the back of my neck just stood up. And I just said, uh-oh. And I wiggled my arm out the window and opened the door from the outside. I don't know how I did it, but I got out. I threw myself out into the street, almost got run over by a cab. That cab, I wanted that cab. Where was that cab when I needed it?
Did he try and stop you?
No, actually, he tried to. He didn't grab me because I was really out that door pretty quick, but he stepped on the gas and spun the wheel and spun around so that, I really, it actually helped me. It flung me out the car.
And do you think it was Ted Bundy?
I do. Yes, I do.
When you saw him on the news all those years later?
Yeah, I read his modus operandi, and again, the hair on the back of my neck stood up because I hadn't really thought about it after that. And I thought, oh, God, I'm glad I got away from that.
Yeah.
But then after when I read the description of, how he did things, I just went, oh, my God. And they also described the smell that this kind of sort of insanity can, generate in a human being, and it has something to do with some chemical that's released. And really flipped me out.
I've got the
It
hair
was
on.
a total animal instinct. I know it was an instinctive response to that smell as well. It really just alarmed me.
It's extraordinary.
Yeah.
Let's move on to a happier event in your
Okay.
life. Your longtime partner, Chris Stein,
Right.
one of the great songwriters of Blondie. Is it true that you first clapped eyes on him when you were performing on stage and he was in the audience?
Yes. Yes, he was sitting there, and he was just so easy to look at, and I sort of did the whole show to him. And
Really?
at that point, I was tremendously shy on stage, and it was just so easy to, do the show to him.
Was he aware that you were doing the show to him? I would imagine he would have been.
I don't really know. He's never really copped to that.
They're very good. You become one of us. Excellent. Is it hard to be in a relationship in a band with a man when you are, in fact, the object of desire from so many men?
I think it was difficult sometimes. I think he felt very responsible for me, and I think that was one of the reasons that we had a bodyguard, because it was just too much for him, to act, to be the man in a relationship, and to feel that, he was, doing his manly duty or whatever it is. I don't know. He's a guy.
So when in the 80s, when Chris fell very sick and you helped care for him, that was a role reversal, wasn't it? You were used to you were the centre of attention, and now suddenly somebody else was the focus. Was that a good headspace to get into for you?
I don't know if we ever really had that kind of a dynamic. I think we were a couple for so long that we really practically thought as one person. I mean, it really was kind of good, our relationship, because when he would sort of waffle on something and sort of not, be with it, I, would be with it and was, really okay. So we really balanced each other out very well.
He's not on this tour because he's with his wife and his new baby. With all you went through together, do you ever resent that he married someone else?
Well...
Thought you were going to hit me for a second there.
No, I think he's, I want him to be happy. Of all the people in the world, he's probably one of the people that I love the most, and I want him to be happy. And I think that he is. He has a beautiful little daughter named Akira and a beautiful wife named Barbara. And what could be better?
You said that you view marriage as a form of slavery. Do you still feel that way?
Yes, I think, it's what you make of it. I think that traditionally, marriage was about property, wasn't it?
Way back, yes.
Yeah.
Now it's about prenups.
Yeah.
Property settlements.
Yeah.
You wanted fame, glamour, identity. You got all of those. But when you go home to the apartment, the dogs, and you shut the door, what's left?
A lot of great friends and good times. Yeah.
You're not lonely?
No, actually I'm not. I think I was for a while, but no, I'm not. I'm not lonely at all.
Looking at that clip of you before, you were, and indeed still are, very beautiful, and yet you were criticised for being beautiful, and you were criticised as you got older for not being beautiful, or not being beautiful as you were. Does it frustrate you that the conversation about you never runs any deeper than looks?
I think for a woman, you know, to be beautiful is, you know, such an asset, such an important asset, that it's very valuable. I mean, how could I don't think I would have gotten anywhere without my looks.
You said that getting old sucks, does it?
It can, yeah. I mean, you know, especially if you place such value on physicality and what you look like. So, you know, there's a danger in that.
For you?
For everyone, yes, definitely.
What I'm driving at here is how much of your assessment of you is the external?
Well, I haven't really faced the sort of part where I don't really look good. Are you trying to tell me I don't look good?
Not for us. Now you're just fishing for compliments.
Yeah.
You look fantastic.
Thank you, darling. Thank you. Well, no, I mean, I haven't really faced it sort of where I can't work anymore, you know, or that I'm not considered, you know, good looking or something.
But the way you look is not about your work, surely. I mean, they're wrapped up, but your work is your voice and your art. It's not your look.
Well, that's what I was getting at, yeah. You know, so that's why I work very hard at what I do. You know, I try to be better and better at it, and I think I have gotten better at it.
What was important to you at the height of Blondie, and what's important to you now?
I think at the height of Blondie, I really wanted to, you know, success, you know, and, you know, that sort of monster, that thing there. Now it's more about, you know, being really, doing really good art, you know, writing good things and being proud of my work, being really satisfied with my work. And sometimes, are these wood?
Fake wood, I'm afraid.
Yeah.
We've run on a very low budget.
Okay. Okay. You know, to have that, you know, to have the good work and to feel satisfied with that is terrific. It's one of the greatest thrills.
It's been a thrill to meet you, Deborah Harry. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Deborah Harry.